From scoring his first professional win since December 2020 to chasing Tyson Fury for a fight, fans can't wait to see what's next for Anthony Joshua. In fact, he might be up against Fury or Deontay Wilder sooner than you think.
You get nervous.
Okay, I used to. I used to. But I feel like now what's happened is there's no way out.
Now, he started off the year with 3 potential showdowns, listing a couple of opponents who you might see in the ring with him. And with his recent victory from Jermaine Franklin, one that many didn't expect, he's already got plans for his next fight. Not to mention, this fight was a game changer for his career. Joshua had reached a point of no return in his must-win clash against the American. I mean, it was pretty clear. The former heavyweight champion knew that a third loss in a row would signal the end of his career, and to save himself the embarrassment, he announced that a defeat would lead him to retirement once and for all. But now that he won by unanimous decision, he's ready to face his next opponent in a couple of months. And I know what you're thinking. When is he going to be up against Fury? Well, it seems like you gotta wait for that. Sure, it's the ideal fight for him, but he also needs to make sure he scores a win. Otherwise, it's simply not worth it. Right now, Hips promoter Eddie Hearn is discussing the possibility of a matchup between the two, but there are a couple of things to consider. First, he needs a couple of warm-up fights before he makes it into the ring with Fury. As Hearn said, some fights are there to be made, and you get one chance to do it.
Say one thing before I go. When AJ boxed Alexander Usyk, the split was already determined by the order of the mandatory. It was 25%. He didn't have a belt. He was just a challenger in the heavyweight division.
Not to mention, he mentioned that while his performance against Franklin was pretty solid, it wasn't spectacular. In fact, a lot of people were criticizing their performance, and one of them was even Dillian Whyte. Yep, he also had a pretty close fight with Franklin too, and he thinks the Brit could have been a lot more aggressive. If anything, it seemed like he wasn't as confident as he should have been. But is that really surprising? I mean, he hasn't scored a professional win since December 2020, and his career was literally on the line here. That's a lot of pressure if you ask me. On top of that, he's also had 3 trainers in his last 3 fights. A third defeat would mean his career was over once and for all.
It was a good chess match. I'm a boxer, innit? I'm a box fighter.
As for his next fight, everyone, including Eddie, thinks he needs a step up from Franklin. At the same time, he still needs to play it safe because he shouldn't jump up to an elite-level heavyweight just to lose once again. So maybe he needs to push the Tyson Fury clash until he scores another win. But what about AJ? Does he want to fight Fury next? Well, he wants the biggest fight right now, so yes, let's face it, all the fans want a big fight. They want Fury or Wilder, and not easy wins. But Eddie feels like AJ needs to be a bit selfish in his career right now, especially if he wants to redeem himself. Sure, he needs a blockbuster fight to make money. At the same time, he needs to be careful about the route he takes when he puts himself in that position. While AJ is excited to fight Fury, he's still relying on his promoter right now, because he's not trying to risk it all, and Eddie believes that he needs another fight to reinforce that confidence after the win against Franklin. On top of that, he's going to be in better shape in December, mentally and physically, so that's going to leave him ready to face Fury or Wilder. I know a fight like that is pretty tempting right now, but it would be wise if he wouldn't jump straight into it right now. Not to mention, their previous fight didn't work out so well. Fury's unpredictable demands have also seemed to get in the way of much-awaited fights. I mean, we all saw what happened with Alexander Usyk, right? He pulled out one demand after another, and he just didn't seem satisfied at all. At one point, fans thought he was trying to sabotage the fight on purpose, and that's something Joshua feels happened to him. After he lost to Usyk for the second time back in 2022, it wasn't long until Fury called him out. Sure, the two fighters verbally agreed to the match, but they were still negotiating a deal, or at least trying to. The date was set, the venue was set, sets, but the fight never worked out. Why? Because despite all the ultimatums, Joshua never signed the deal. Back then, he said there were a few legal issues that never worked out, so it was pretty much out of his control, and many fans figured that it was just to save face. But with everything that happened between Fury and Usyk recently, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason the deal never worked out was unpredictable demands. I mean, Fury was the one who sent the final deal after all. With that said, this made fans hungrier for the fight. But even if that's further away than we think, what about a fight with Wilder? Well, you might see him share the ring with Joshua next. At this point, if not Fury, then Wilder could be the ideal opponent for him. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying that it's guaranteed entertainment with the best chance of a knockout. Not to mention, if the Brit manages to score a win in this fight, he'll finally be able to redeem himself. Now, the fight could have happened back in 2019. That's back when the two held all 4 titles and seemed unbeatable. But of course, as you know, a deal never worked out. Sure, you could blame boxing politics, egos, or conflict over money. It was just a combination. Fast forward to 2023, and they don't have any belts to defend anymore, or any mandatory challengers to oblige. So consider that the two boxers are free from the shackles and can easily negotiate a deal at this point. Having said that, Wilder's definitely one of the most devastating punchers fans have ever seen. And that's exactly why this is going to be a massive fight. Plus, Eddie mentioned that since Joshua's under a new trainer, he needs as many fights as he can get right now. But are you all that patient? Of course not. Everyone wants an epic fight with Fury or Wilder and nothing less. Not to mention, Joshua can't survive on easy wins either. With that said, this year can be a game changer for Joshua right now. If he's consistent enough, he might be back in the game. Honestly, an elite level heavyweight might not be the best opponent for Joshua right now. Sure, it could be someone at a similar level to Franklin, but still gotta give the public what they want. Not to mention, his recent performance seemed like a pretty conscious effort to not be reckless. I mean, it seems like his popularity and ability to sell out arenas is kinda lost somewhere in the middle, and like Eddie said, it's difficult to get into fights that drive the same interest. I mean, right now, Joshua needs to find the perfect balance. He needs to give fans what they want, while also seeing what's working out for the development of his career. So that's exactly why choosing his next opponent is a crucial move for his future right now. It could be Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. In fact, it could even be someone else to begin with. It looks like you gotta wait until his next fight to find out.
In the sense that the standard of preparation can't decline due to the fact that there's no title there. It's because it would be silly of me to have that mindset, because that's going to lead me towards getting beat.
Until then, here's my question for you. Who do you think Joshua is gonna fight next? Fury or Wilder?